Man walking, dead man coming through. Canelo Alvarez, Gennady Golovkin. Look, thank God, okay? There is a God above because something good came out of this 12-round shit show. My God. I mean, thank God I didn't spend one penny other than gas money getting to the theater to watch this bullshit fight. Look, I put out, it wasn't an immediate reaction video. What I put out, you could hear it in my voice. It was just pure fucking it's so depressing. It was just disappointment is what you heard. I mean, there was no emotion. I was dry. I was depressed. I mean, look, I literally walked out halfway through the fight. I'm talking about the Canelo Chavez, and then we'll get to the Gennady Golovkin Canelo fight announcement. But this is my immediate reaction, okay? Now that I've had time to calm down, I walked in the door pissed off. I even yelled at my dog. I feel bad I yelled at my dog, pissed off, right? What is a bullshit, glorified sparring match shit show that was. I mean, we'll get into that in a minute. But what made it better was I didn't even know that they announced Chavez Gennady Golovkin. Sorry, I got a heartburn, ate a lot of popcorn, okay? I didn't even know until someone in the comment section said, hey, you shouldn't have left so early because they announced the fight. And I'm like, well, shit, okay. Now we're talking, right? Now we're talking. That made my night. But apparently, yes, there it is. Gennady Golovkin comes in the ring. You hear that staple song. What is it? The Black Keys or whatever. That dun 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 dun. And Golovkin comes in the ring like a gangster, like a gentleman, but like a gangster. And look, if you know anything about body language, excuse me, people, this is live, unedited. You can tell Canelo. Look at that look. He's like, ah, shit. The con is over. It's done. I'm glad I made a lot of money on this one because, game over. He had that look on his face, right? So then, Gennady Golovkin comes in the ring. They make the announcement, and, there we are, September 16th, I believe. Now, I just watched an interview with Gennady Golovkin, and, he basically, the picture you're looking at here after the Chavez fight, Gennady Golovkin comes in, congratulates Canelo. I mean, he's a gentleman of the sport. He really is, Gennady Golovkin. But he went on, I forget what it was. It was like ESPN, and, they're interviewing him, excuse me, and, he just said, look, the real Mexican showdown is going to go down September 16th. And I believe it. I believe it. Now, of course, the host of that show said, people seem to think that Canelo is getting better and you're somewhat on the decline, And then, Gennady Golovkin, he just said, well, we'll have to wait and see, and that's what, that's what makes the fight intriguing. But, I personally, I think Gennady Golovkin kind of played possum a little bit in these last couple of fights. I really do. I mean, that's just what I think. Against Daniel Jacobs, he beat him, whatever, good fight. He won, just like I said he would, just like we knew he would, right? Kell Brook, nearly fucking killed him, broke his face, and had it gone on another minute, 30 seconds to a minute, he would have probably killed him in the ring, but he got exposed, according to all these YouTube fucking analysts out there. But, we'll see. Like I said, hang on, let me give me a drink of water. This is live, people. Hang on. But yeah, I think, I think he was playing a little bit of possum there. I really do. All right, so yeah, we got the announcement. Canelo looks all puckered up and scared. They're not making eye contact, and you can tell. I mean, again, I always talk to you guys about body language. I'm big on body language, human behavior, human psychology. My wife was a psychologist, so I was very interested in psychology, learned a lot from her. And, so I can tell. I mean, what I see here, Canelo, he's a little pissed off that Gennady Golovkin is coming in there kind of stealing his thunder, his moment, right? And also, he's worried. He's worried because now let's get into the fight. Why is he worried? Look, like I said, the Chavez-Canelo fight was garbage, pure shit, okay? And I don't have anything good to say about either one of them. Only thing, okay, look, and I can try to dig deep and tell you something good. Chavez made weight. Okay, that was probably the best thing Chavez did. And Canelo, stood up between every round. He didn't sit down in his corner. I mean, that is literally the best thing that happened in the past 2 days with Chavez Canelo. Look, I was in an arena or an auditorium, completely packed with Canelo fans. There were some Chavez fans, but primarily Canelo fans. And they were booing. They were disappointed. They were complaining. They were like, oh, come on. I mean, they were just like, falling asleep. Look, I'm not going to get into the fight. I mean, I'll tell you in like 30 seconds or less, okay? You had Chavez basically walking up to Canelo, getting punched, and every now and then Chavez would put his head down and, pitter-patter to the body and take a shot on the gloves, and that's about it. Chavez, he didn't work behind the jab. He didn't control the range. He didn't let his hands go. He did, look, everything I said he needed to do in my prediction video, he didn't do any of it. None of it. He did nothing. Chavez didn't even have a moment in the fight. Maybe one round he had Canelo on the ropes, and then he backed off, just like Pacquiao backed off against Mayweather, and that was it. Now, the second question that was in my mind is, why couldn't Canelo finish him? I mean, he literally had a punching bag with arms, a punching bag with a heartbeat in front of him. So, hey, I just got a notification. Michael Montero's new video is out. You guys check his Michael Montero, friend of mine, check him out. He's got a great channel. He is probably the only channel I watch on YouTube. So, but anyway, you got a human punching bag in front of you. And of course, look, of course Canelo's going to look flashy. Of course he's going to look good. And that's the deception. That's what people don't understand. Yeah, you're going to look good against Amir Khan. Okay, you're going to look good against Liam Smith. All right, you're going to look good against an old, drained Chavez. Now, I thought Chavez was going to come in a lot heavier than he did, okay? When he was, coming doing the ring walk, I was like, oh shit, he really looks like thin. Like he just looks, not much different than he did in the weigh-in. I thought he'd put on like 20 pounds. I mean, Mimo Heredia said that, they don't want anything less than 180 on Chavez, and maybe he was. Maybe he was so completely drained that maybe he was 180. You just can't tell. But I mean, wow, what a huge disappointment. So, but what made it good? Like I said, I'm not even going to get into the fight. I'm just going to tell you it fucking sucked. It was a glorified sparring match. And, and I predicted it too. I said Canelo's going to win by unanimous decision, but I'm going to ride with Chavez, and, I think it's just, I mean, all that work he put into, and where's the training from Nacho Barricine? Where's the training? It didn't show up in the fight. Where's all the combinations you see him in the training footage, leading up? Nothing showed up tonight. Nothing at all showed up for Chavez. Nothing, fucking nothing. It was a shit show, glorified sparring match. It needs to be deleted from boxing history. And you know what? I feel bad for the Mexican people. I really do. And again, thank God I did not spend a penny, because I would demand a fucking refund. It was a shit fight. But now we're getting to the real fight. And then, look, that's how I honestly feel. I'm not trying to be harsh. People out there might be thinking like, damn, this guy's going in hard. No, I'm being honest, completely honest. That's the whole point of an immediate reaction video, is you're getting honesty, okay? I don't have time to think about it. I don't have time to process it. All I can do is sit here in my chair and just let it out, all right? And that's exactly what I'm doing. So, but thank God, I'm so ready to move on from the whole Canelo Chavez thing. So completely ready. But here's Gennady Golovkin right here, giving the interview. You can see the T-Mobile Arena behind him. He's basically over here at the ESPN booth. He went from the T-Mobile Arena out, because you have all the major networks there covering the fight. So he basically went, press hopping. So he's going from tent to tent to tent to tent, giving interviews. So, but like I said, in this particular interview, the guy did say, Golovkin's on the decline, and, Golovkin didn't disagree. You know, he didn't disagree with him. Although, you know, I don't really think he is. I think Golovkin is bored. But what I liked was he said, you know, the real Mexican showdown is going to be September 16th. That's the real Mexican showdown. Now, let me get into the undercard because the undercard completely stole the show. Okay. Lucas Matisse looking as good as ever, better. I like him better at welterweight rather than light welterweight. In there against what's his name? Fuck, Taylor. Yeah, man, I'm so tired. Looked great. Seventh round, was it a seventh, eighth round knockout, I believe. But good combinations, good speed. His power carried up. And Roy Jones pointed out something, that I liked. Jim Lampley said, well, do you think his power will carry up from light welterweight? And he said, yeah. I mean, Lucas is a kind of, natural, heavy-handed, heavy hitter. His power could go all the way up to 154, probably. All the way from like 140 to 154. He's like, he could go up another division and still have decent power. Okay, maybe not knockout power, but decent power. But he looked crisp, sharp. I mean, just that classic Lucas Matisse, but better. Okay, so that was a great fight. Joseph Diaz, won a decent 12-round decision. I like Joseph Diaz. I've met him a couple times. Good kid. But I'm not 100% sold on Joseph Diaz. That's Brandon Rios getting in his car right there. I got so many random pictures. But, okay. But, good fight. Now, actually, okay, you had Lucas Matisse and then the David Lemieux, Marcos Reyes fight that really stole the show. I mean, let me just 1 minute on that fight, okay? You basically had David Lemieux coming out there trying to knock him out, trying to make a statement, put on a show before the 4th round. He had a pudge on his belly. We know he's had trouble with his weight, and he couldn't get him out of there. So, it's your classic David Lemieux. He couldn't get the guy out of there. He started to kind of decline, to kind of gas out. And it was basically a bloodbath war, a one-sided war. But I mean, huge, mega props to Reyes, because man, that guy took some hellacious shots. Like, they were actually wanting to stop the fight in like round 8 and 9. I mean, just a great performance by Reyes. I mean, just the heart of a fucking lion. Let me tell you, okay. Anybody else would have quit. He had nothing left on his punches. No way he was going to beat David Lemieux. I mean, David Lemieux could have stood there with his chin popped out and gave him like 10 shots, and he couldn't have dropped him, okay? Just not going to happen. Now, but he did drop him multiple times in that fight. And then, what's his name? Lucas Matisse dropped Taylor multiple times in that fight. So, those two fights really stole the show. And isn't that how it always happens? That's how it always happens. You have these big mega fights like the Pacquiao-Mayweather, and what happens? The undercard always steals the show. But here we go, guys. You better get ready for like 10,000 Gennady Golovkin Canelo videos. And I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? I get a lot of shit for hating on Canelo. But, look, I don't care. I mean, he deserves it, okay? After what I witnessed tonight, he more than deserves it. I mean, this was bullshit. I mean, these people are just raking in your money, conning you. That's what they're doing. I mean, look, you know what this reminded me of? And I was talking to someone after the fight. I was talking to a Canelo fan. I almost interviewed him, like, and put it on the channel. But, he said, it kind of reminds me of... when we were all growing up, how like Hulk Hogan or Mike Tyson was like, the like a superhero, right, to us young kids, okay? And it kind of, he said, this fight reminded me of like maybe like a current Mike Tyson versus Deontay Wilder, okay? You got that name recognition, that household name, versus Deontay Wilder. So just imagine a Mike Tyson, Deontay Wilder. Okay, that's kind of what the Canelo Chavez was. Just that name. It's the name versus Canelo is what it was. It sells fucking tickets, okay? I mean, that's all it was. And, I said, I've made a ton of videos as exactly what I said leading up to the fight. But one thing I was wrong about And, look, I learned something. Here's the thing. People are like, oh, you got it wrong, whatever. I learned something every fight. I mean, as a reporter, you learn. Just like as a boxer, as a coach, as a trainer, whatever, a promoter. Every event you cover, everything you do, you continue to learn. And what I learned is, to not let, and I'm going to be real with you guys here. I learned to not let my emotions, dictate my prediction. So, I took my hatred for Canelo and I leaned towards Chavez. But in my mind, I knew Canelo was going to win, So, but then again, I kind of made it, public and open that I was like, yeah, I know he's going to win, but I'm picking Chavez. So, but yeah, I learned a few things covering this fight. But again, thank God it's over. Now we have a real fight on our hands, and that's about all I got, guys. So, yeah, really looking forward to it. So, yeah, leave your comment below. Here we go. What happens?